Turning now to the Trump presidency, and during an event at the White House honoring Bay of Pigs veterans, President Trump announced a new series of restrictions aimed at attacking the Cuban government.
Today, as part of our continuing fight against communist oppression, I am announcing that the Treasury Department will prohibit U.S. travelers from staying at properties owned by the Cuban government. We're also further restricting the importation of Cuban alcohol and Cuban tobacco. These actions will ensure that U.S. dollars do not fund the Cuban regime and go directly to the Cuban people.
All right, during the same event, the president said the U.S. government will also impose sanctions on Nicaragua and Venezuela.
Today's announcement comes on the heels of a report from the Miami Herald that Donald Trump, before he was president, applied to register his Trump trademark in the communist nation for a variety of commercial activities, including investing in real estate, hotels, casinos, and golf courses.
Now, according to the Herald, the trademark was eventually approved in March of 2010. It expired in 2018, well into the Trump presidency. Andres Rivero is a Cuban-American and former federal prosecutor. He's also a Biden campaign surrogate. And Andres, thank you for joining us. Sanctions against Cuba have been in effect since October of 1960 under the Eisenhower administration. 60 years later, what exactly have they accomplished?
Look, they have not accomplished freedom in Cuba. That's clear to all of us. I was born shortly before those sanctions, and I'm 60 years old now. So I think Cuban Americans understand very well that these nothing sanctions that Donald Trump is announcing 40 days before the election, what he's saying is that travelers to Cuba can't stay in government-owned hotels or buy certain amounts of rum and tobacco. Those aren't even, that's the most patronizing kind of thing, and I think Cuban Americans are going to see right through that, especially as your setup piece says, when we now know from Cuban government records that Trump registered his trademark for the purpose, as you said, but not just that. That starting in 1997 and in 2011, 2012, 2013, he sent his business representatives to see how he could invest in and do business in communist Cuba. This is the height of hypocrisy, and I think that I know that my friends, my acquaintances, my family see through this.
Andres, you mentioned the registering of those trademarks in Cuba at another time when so much isn't going on in this country. Those revelations could have been explosive, embarrassing for the Trump campaign. We, of course, have reached out to the White House. They have no comment at this point. But explain exactly what happened and whether you think this would actually sway support for the president in the Cuban community.
Look, I think you're right. I think under other circumstances and with a different person, this would have been a massive scandal in the Cuban-American community because he tried to do business in Cuba. If Donald Trump had succeeded in doing a Trump hotel in Cuba, I would be suing him right now because I've presented more Helms-Burton claims than any other lawyer in Miami. So he's doing exactly what people are applauding me for going after. And then he has the audacity to try to patronize us 40 days before an election and say now he's going to prohibit certain purchases of alcohol and rum if you go to Cuba. It's ridiculous. Again, anyone would see through this. And I think it's insulting to Cuban Americans, to Venezuelan Americans, and to Nicaraguan Americans.
Andres, you mentioned the word hypocrisy, and Democrats have used that word to describe what's going on right now with the Supreme Court pick, given what Republicans said back in 2016. Yet, the Biden campaign is so concerned about how it's doing with the Cuban-American community. Why do you think he doesn't have more Cuban-American support?
Well, you know, let me say that I understand the question based on what some recent polling has shown, although there's different polling that shows the numbers differently. But let's remember, you're talking about Cuban Americans in Miami. In the Hispanic community in Florida is very diverse. Joe was just down for Boricuas for Biden. There was a very big, hundreds of car Cubans for Biden caravan. Check out Cubans for Biden on Facebook. Just this past Saturday, there's another rally on this Saturday. So I think it's overstated that there's a problem in terms of enthusiasm for Joe Biden among Hispanics in Florida. That's not to say traditionally Cuban Americans have broken Republican. That's to be expected. But I think it's overstated to say that there's a problem for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is winning among Hispanics in Florida. It's going to be a close race. It's very important that Hispanics and all voters come out at this election.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Elliot, but specifically for Cuban Americans, do you think the Trump message regarding Democrats and socialism is working?
Yes, I'm concerned that that has been part of it. You know, if you look at what happened today, there were 20-some elderly people in the 70s to 80s cohort there with the president today. You know, folks like my elderly relatives. That's understandable, but I think you've got to understand, people from my age and below have a lot of interests. Hispanics are affected more than most folks by the coronavirus pandemic. And right now, Donald Trump is trying to repeal the ACA when healthcare is so important. So there are a lot of issues. I do think there's an issue. This socialism issue has been biting. But I have to say something. Anyone who knows my family name, my grandfather would have been president of Cuba, but for Fidel Castro. I know who the communists are. Joe Biden has been a politician in the United States for 47 years, and he has nothing about him that is communist or socialist. It's absurd. No one should be fooled by that. But some older people, I do think, are being affected by the campaign.
And your ancestor was Andres Rivero Agüero, of course, very well known in Cuban history. And thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.